based on your own experience. Come up to the front of the stage, shake my hand, introduce yourself, and then introduce the role that you will be performing tonight to make our meetings exceptional. So, our first role master and a Toastmaster who's going to make two journeys up here to announce her roles is the role of the odd counter. The odd counter tonight is Toastmaster Sabine. Toastmaster Sabine.
Yeah, here we are. So this is my second time in this meeting, so I'm very excited about this, and I plunge into the roles. So the R counter, script and log, is basically someone who is supposed to see, that's what happens. Counts the ums, the ahs, the so's, the likes, lots of likes in Miami, I hear these days. And any type of filler words that people use instead of using a pause. What we do is we try to bridge a moment where we don't know how to finish a sentence, and that's what the R counter is doing. So I'm trying to do that as the best of my ability tonight. So that's on the R counter, and I will report back what I find afterwards. I don't try to be too strict here. You want me to also talk about the Romanian?
I'll call you back up on that second.
Thank you very much.
Equally important and ensuring that we stick to our regularly scheduled program is the job of the timer. And our timer this evening is Toastmaster Robert.
Thank you, Mr. President, and greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I will be your timer this evening, and as the timer, I will time the table topics, the prepared speeches, as well as the evaluations. And I will alert each speaker of the time they have left using 3 different cards: green, yellow, and red. So quickly, I'd like to just review how much time is allocated for each type of speech. For the table topics, speakers should limit their remarks to no more than 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, I will raise the green card. At 1 minute and 30 seconds, I will raise the yellow card. And at 2 minutes, I will raise the red card. For those giving speeches that are prepared speeches, they should limit their remarks to, for the icebreaker, which would be your first speech in the program, 4 to 6 minutes. And at 4 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 5 minutes, I will raise the yellow card. And at 6 minutes, I will raise the red card. For those giving other speeches, they should be 5 to 7 minutes in length. And at 5 minutes, I will raise the green card, 6 minutes the yellow card, and 7 minutes the red card. The individuals providing evaluations should be between 2 and 3 minutes. And at 2 minutes, I will raise the green card, 2 minutes and 30 seconds, the yellow card, and 3 minutes, the red card. Thank you, Mr. President.
So I commend this Toastmaster for really stepping outside of the box and taking 2 critical roles to help our meeting move along. She's really trying to improve her skill set in this club. So that means that the grammarian is a familiar face that you saw, and it's Toastmaster Sabine.
So here I am again. I try to learn all the roles, so this is how I signed up for this. And this one I want to read to you because it's a little bit more complicated. So as a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any misuses of the English language, as well as any outstanding words, quotes, sayings, or songs. As a grammarian, it is also my duty to introduce the word of the day. And I did look that up earlier. I didn't make it up. So the word of the day is heuristic. spelled E-R-I-S-T-I-C, and it means controversial or pertaining to controversy or disputation. As an example of using this word is, for example, a book critic who brought an heuristic perspective to a book discussion, claiming that he disliked the title of the book. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day. You can use it multiple times if you like. And if I will give a word of the day report and grammatical usage report when called upon during the meeting. Thank you.
There is an unwritten rule that some clubs use, but not all of them, that if you do hear the word of the day, you're supposed to snap your fingers like this, as acknowledging that we've all heard it. So I encourage you all to do the same if you hear somebody mention heuristic at some point during this meeting. After the first two speakers have delivered their speech, we're going to start a game called Table Topics, in which anybody in the crowd here can participate. Table Topics is a personal favorite of mine, and today's table topic role is going to be Toastmaster Tess. So Tess, if you can stand up and let us know what you'll be doing this evening.
I will ask between 3 and 5 questions, and you have 2 minutes to answer each one.
Very good. So it's a thinking on your feet, making up the content in the moment type of public speaking exercise. Tonight's speakers are an icebreaker by Toastmaster Helga, who I do not see in the crowd at the moment, so we're going to give her a little bit of time to join us, and a prepared speech by Toastmaster Burjesh. Title of his speech being the Flying Dragon. Did I get that correctly? Yes, the Flying Dragon. Evaluator number 1 for the icebreaker will be Toastmaster Edward Landrin, and evaluator number 2 for Burjesh's speech will be none other than myself. And with that, we will get the show on the road with prepared speech by Burjesh. But before we get started, in order to get the brain juices flowing, I found a little something online that I would like to share with each and every one of you. A woman went to a pharmacist and went right up to the pharmacist, looked him straight in the eyes and said, "I would like to buy some cyanide." The pharmacist said, "Why in the world would you need cyanide?" The lady said, "I need it to poison my husband." The pharmacist, with eyes big, exclaimed, "Lord have mercy. I cannot give you cyanide to kill your husband. That is against the law. I'll lose my license. They'll throw both of us in jail. All kinds of bad things will happen. Absolutely not. You cannot have cyanide." The woman reached into her purse, pulled out a picture of her husband in bed with the pharmacist's wife. The pharmacist looked at the picture and replied, "Oh, well, that's different. You didn't tell me you had a prescription." But it's, thank you. That was relatively PG-13, it's within that range. So after that lame joke, I would like to invite our first speaker tonight, and a longtime member and great contributor to the club. That would be Toastmaster Burjesh.
When I was a teenager, I thought I was the smartest person in the world. I could open a bag of chips without using my hands. I could recite the alphabet backwards in less than 10 seconds. And I was also the high school chess captain of my team. And that felt like I had won the Teenage Nobel Prize. Well, as it turns out, I later discovered that I was wrong about a lot of things as a teenager. And I want to share one of those stories with you today. So when I was 16, my parents lived in Nigeria, so I was visiting them on vacation. And I walked into this bar, and there in the corner in a dimly lit area was a table with littered bottles of beer and a man sitting there staring at a chessboard as if it was the most fascinating thing he had ever seen. I thought, this guy needs a chess education. Let me show him how it's done. For me, chess is one of my favorite sports. I know I call it a sport. And I imagine it as a 3D action movie without the popcorn, but with live ammunition. So I imagine it as a picture from The Lord of the Rings, where my queen is a majestic silver dragon flying through the air with razor-sharp claws. That's one of the pieces in chess. And my rook is a giant hulking ogre with fists the size of sledgehammers. And my knight is a black Arabian stallion breathing fire from its nostrils. So I'm very excited when I'm playing the game. And so we started to play the game. And my queen was ruling the skies, raining down death and destruction. And my bishop, or my rook, barreling through the battlefield, destroying everything. And I looked at the guy and I said, I'm going to give him 10 minutes before I beat him. At 20 minutes passed and the game was still going on. The battle was still raging. 30 minutes and a crowd gathered around us, whispering. 40 minutes and I could see people placing bets on who was going to win. 50 minutes into it, I was winning. My knight jumped into the opponent's king and attacked the king. But because of that move, I opened up a gap in my defense, and my opponent pounced on that and sent his army to take care of that. I sacrificed my bishop to try to stop the attack. But unfortunately, his rook barreled through and trapped my king. At that time, I had to throw in the white flag. I lost the game. As is customary in a game of chess, we stand up to shake hands with the opponent. So I stood up to shake hands with him, and he looked at me and he said, "Do you want to know what you did wrong?" You'd think I'd learned my lesson by being defeated by him, but I was like, me? What did I do wrong? Are you kidding me? You got away by the skin of your teeth. I nearly beat you. How dare you ask me what I did wrong? What do you think? I didn't do anything wrong. What does he mean by that? But curiosity got the better of me. I felt the word of the day at that moment. Which I haven't gotten.
Heuristic.
I felt heuristic in that moment. I said, what? What he did next has changed my life forever. So he cleared the board, reset the pieces, and he replayed the entire game from memory, move by move. You did this, I did this, you did this, I did this, you did this, I did this, and my jaw just dropped. I couldn't believe. I mean, who remembers every single move in a chess game? I could barely remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. And here he is, playing at a level that I could never even imagine. This guy was a prodigy, and I was defeated right from the beginning. You've heard that adage from Art of War, the battle is lost and won even before it begins. Yeah, I got it in that moment. I was like, yeah, that's me. And my image of Lord of the Rings completely vanished. Instead, it was replaced with popcorn and soda and Scooby-Doo. And I imagined my army being led by Shaggy, my Air Force being led by Tweety Bird. I had absolutely no chance in winning the game. And I imagined his army as a line of Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminators, with double-barrel shotguns and their dark glasses. And we were the ones that were being hunted. We had absolutely no chance. So as I said that day, my life changed forever because I became 10% less cocky. No, that's a joke. Actually, what changed for me 100% was judging people by appearance. After that time, I never look at someone the same way again, regardless of their age or their sex or how they look. I realized that everyone is an expert at something, and there's something that I can learn from anybody that I meet. I turned 51 a couple of days ago, And I don't know how you guys feel, but every year I feel like I know less and less. There's so much information in this world, there's so much to learn that as a teenager I can't even imagine how I used to feel, like as if I knew everything. Who knows, you know, you meet a guy in the bar and it could be a rock, paper, scissors champion of the world. Or the old lady that lives next door is actually a secret ninja. Can you relate to judging somebody? Yes, a couple of people. Yeah, so I ask you, maybe look around the room today at somebody you've never met, or even people that you know, and ask yourself, I wonder what this person is an expert at. What can they teach me? What's something new I've learned today, or what's something new I can learn as I go home this evening? Thank you. Where's
Wow, that was amazing, Rajesh. Thank you for all your contributions, as always, because it really provides some very impactful stories for us to reflect on. So, awesome speech. Thank you for delivering. And we also have another totally cool one lined up as well. Toastmaster Helga will provide us a unique view on cancer survivors. So I call to the front Toastmaster Helga.
Thank you, Toastmaster Eddie, and thank you everyone for listening to my story. So this is my first Toastmaster speech, so I just want to say that in advance. I first wanted to say, so why is cancer not so, the name of my speech is called Cancer's Not So Bad. It wasn't so bad for me. So when I was a little girl, I had cancer. And I'm not sure, can you hear me? Because if not, I'm gonna stop.
yes.
Okay, great. So, I had a pea-sized tumor about the size of this earbud in my side, and we didn't know for a long time until I was 8. We used to call it my sore spot. Anytime anyone would even touch it, it would cause me extreme pain. I would cry. So I went to the hospital with my mom, and they told me that they told us that it was a new type of cancer. They'd never seen it before, and they wanted to remove it right away. So within a month, they took out that tumor, and things seemed good. Well, then afterwards, they found out that there was more infected tissue, and they needed to take out more. So my mom was really upset, and she said, yeah, you should have known that before you went in the first time, so we went to a hospital. And you know, this story is gonna get better, I promise. So, so we went to a new hospital, a renowned hospital in pediatric cancer, Sloan Kettering, and I had countless tests before I had my next surgery, actually like years of the tests. And just to be fair, when you're a kid and you're sick, that's kind of all you know. So don't really feel bad for me because I didn't really know what it was to be healthy. So it was like normal. So I'm just getting a lot of attention. Everybody sees me every day. I see a doctor. I see a person who, like a psychiatrist. I see all my friends in the hospital. And afterwards, they took out the infected tissue, and I was in the hospital for about a week, and I was pretty sick. But I was fine after that. I've been in remission ever since. And afterwards, I got connected with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and the Make-A-Wish Foundation grants wishes to kids who have potentially terminal diseases, and I was granted a Make-A-Wish. And so the wish is not important. But what is important is that, for me, in that instance, like I said, cancer was not so bad. First, it got me a lot of attention, and second, it got me, it awarded me a wish in being connected to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I was able to become like a brand ambassador for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I went around doing events with them as a cute little kid, speaking about my experience, and like meeting all these celebrities and doing all these fun events, and getting a lot more attention. Like I said, I was like the second of 4 children. My mom was like a single parent for a lot of our growing up, and I was actually very, very shy. So this was really helpful and exposed me to a lot of things that I didn't even think about. In fact, I even did a commercial with our ex-president, Donald Trump, so, for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So, it's kind of crazy. Cancer, again, is not so bad. And the other thing I'll say is that cancer, one of the things that I find most fulfilling is that it connected me with this cancer camp that I used to go to 8 weeks out of the summer. And that was really gratifying to me because, like I said, like when you grow up in the city, you don't see as much nature, and being there was like a sleepaway camp. We do all those fun activities that you would imagine, and just having that community and growing up with them. I even became a camp counselor for my summers when I was in college, just paying it forward. So, all to say that I think it's all about your outlook, and you'd be surprised at how, like, if you think about it, like my life would be very different if this didn't happen. And I think that can be not just for cancer, but it could be for a lot of experiences that you have. So don't think about it as a negative experience, but just like think about it as like how it can impact your life, and maybe it saved you from a different path that was less worthy of you. So thank you.
Wow. So delivering a speech is one thing. Delivering an icebreaker speech is another thing, but also adding a personal element to your speech takes it to a whole nother level. So another round of applause for Evan. A little unknown fact about the program of Toastmasters itself, there is a therapeutic element to all of this in, you know, breaking down personal barriers and sharing personal stories with a small group of people actually helps yourself grow personally, and it helps, there's just so many other avenues that benefits you. So a lot of folks come here to share personal anecdotes and stories from their past, and you know, there's an element of therapy to that as well. So thank you again for sharing that with us. So, as always, the most challenging job is the evaluators. Myself and Eddie have a pretty tall task ahead of us. So let's get some rounds of table topics in, and I'd like to call to the front Toastmaster Tess.
Any volunteers?
Volunteers for what?
For the tabletop things.
Yeah, sure. I'll volunteer.
And-
Why?
So, if you were a car, what would you be and why?
An Aston Martin, because I'm gonna get one.
Why?
Why? Well, I'm gonna tell you a story of when I'm gonna get one. Can I tell you a story of why?
One to 2 minutes.
Okay, I'm in 2 minutes. So, has anyone read the book The Secret? Or, yeah? So you guys know everything is mental. Whatever you think about, it becomes reality. So, about last year when I started my signing service, because I'm a notary, I have a loan signing service, I was thinking about how it would feel to be inside of an Aston Martin, right? So I can get the feeling, so I can know, so I can get one, so I can just have the feeling. So I was thinking that over and over, and I kept on repeating, I'm gonna sit in an Aston Martin one of these days. So I get a text message, so I can go do a closing. I don't know where it was at yet. I just didn't know. I'm like, I accepted it, I went. Well, I went next week, that is. On the way over there, I was driving, and I see he's taking me to a collection. The collection is a dealership in Coral Gables, and it ended up being that the closing was at the collection. So when I was done with the closing, I told the gentleman if I could please sit in the Aston Martin, so I could get the feeling of how it is being an Aston Martin. So now I know, so now I just gotta work towards that. I don't want an Aston Martin to try to show off or anything, but I just want one. Just like my mom has a BMW or something like that, well, that's what I want.
Someone else for another question?
What would you like to accomplish this year that you did not get to do last year?
I think what I would like to accomplish is kind of find be more myself, be more understanding of other people, be more a more well-rounded person. Yeah. And also have like a recheck to see like where I'm at in my life and what I want to do, and then if that's something I really need, and then just compare the needs and wants and see what step I should take, forward, backward, or just kind of have like a photograph kind of just because I do a lot of stuff, but then I don't do like the whole analytics of it, like writing the things down and see what I'm doing. So I guess I want to be more observant, more the word is it's more aware, have awareness, more awareness.
Question. To kickstart the year, what would be the one healthy habit that you would like to build into your lifestyle?
Okay, that's a great question. So one thing I actually recently implemented is being more active in the morning. So as soon as I wake up, I actually downloaded this app. It's called Muscle Builder, and every morning it gives me a morning routine, and it's a 7-minute morning, basically very mild workout regimens, and it allows me to get out of the bed, accomplish this workout routine, I would say, and it's very simple, like doing planks, sit-ups. And for that fact is because as soon as I woke up, I went to, let's say, get cereal, sat down at the table, had my breakfast, and I was just on my phone and just, looking at, let's say, social media or whatnot. So waking up instantly, getting to this app, getting at least some blood flowing for the morning, for at least 7 minutes a day, that really had me going into my work schedule, at least with more, I would say, energy. So I want to make it a consistent thing, making it a habit. So that's my approach for the year. Thank you.
What do you like most about living in Miami?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have to say the people. I just came back from school in Toronto, and that was a completely new experience for me, being raised here. And I always thought that Canadians were super nice. I always heard this. But the truth is, they're polite. That's what it is. They'll hold the door open for you. They will, greetings, they're nice with greetings, but Miami is different. People are hospitable. They will invite you over, you can make real connections with people, you can make a new friend after one conversation, and that's something you don't really have in Toronto, so that's probably what I like most about living in Miami, is the people here.
Okay, one more. I'll break that. What is your favorite dish, and where would you have it, and why is it your favorite?
My favorite dish in the whole wide world is chicken wings. Why? And specifically the flats. Chicken wing flats, drumsticks versus flats. Okay, so flats. Chicken wings can be so versatile. You can bake them, fry them, broil them, air fry them, and you can do different flavors. Lemon pepper, orange pepper, Szechuan fish sauce mixed with the chili sauce, which is amazing. It's just so versatile, and I prefer to make them at home and to do a smorgasbord because, of the salt content and, with me being healthy for the 2023 year, and I need you guys to like vegetable. And, so that's what it is, chicken. Thank you.
Do one more. Do one more.
Hello.
I would consider myself a night person, and but 2023 I want to be a morning person. So I've tried to change my schedule to wake up early, trying to program my sleeping patterns so I fall asleep at an earlier time and get up and start the morning with a workout. I'm trying to change my habits this year. So I'm a morning person now. I'm a former night person that's trying to transition into becoming a morning person.
Cool. Thank you all for your participation in table topics. Personal favorite of mine. So we had two pretty unique speeches today. Let's see how our peer reviews of the speech played out, how we can highlight their strengths and challenge our speakers to improve in different ways. So let's start with evaluator number 1, which is Mr. Edward Landry in the back there.
Hello everyone. I had the pleasure of actually evaluating Helga's icebreaker speech, which was a pleasure. And she got me intrigued into her story just because the cancer was her. It was a soft spot in her stomach. And that drew me in. Helga was easy to understand. She came over here, her voice is pleasant, it radiates through the room, which is nice, is what I like. And she has a good presence about her when she's up here. But I think I could have her speech pop a little bit more. Because when you're up here, I think you need to breathe and relax a little bit. Because you can sort of tell you were nervous. You had your legs crossed, you had your hands right here, and you were talking very rapid. And usually when somebody talks very rapid, they have a lot to say and they want to get out the information. So I think one way to make your speech pop out and resonate with everybody in the group is to slow down. It's your story. It's a fantastic story. It's a powerful story. And I like it. But I think if you elaborate and slow down on that story, it'll be fantastic and you can even draw us in even more. Also, when you tell a story, and since it's your story, and it led to a lot of great things for you, meeting the president, getting involved in different organizations, well, leave us with the message. Because the message is, something always happens, and you never know, whatever happens to you, it might lead you to something else. So everything's a surprise, go with it. Or some kind of message that will bring us back and forth. I would love to see that a little bit more. And take time. Take time, structure your what you want to say with the beginning, have it laid out in the middle, and give us that message at the end. And I think that speech will really pop out. And I can't wait until you give that speech again and apply some of that and get rid of some of that nervousness. And I know it's your first time, but just try to relax and breathe, and it'll be a little bit easier. And I think you go a little bit more further with that speech and don't have that internal heuristic type of movement that you might have. But I enjoyed your speech. Great to have you here, and I look forward to hearing that speech again. Thank you so much.
Groovy. Thank you, Toastmaster Eddie. So I guess that makes me last on the agenda for tonight. Ready when you are, Robert. Good. So I will be evaluating Toastmaster Burjesh. And this isn't the first time I've had to evaluate him. I'm pretty sure I've done this twice, maybe 3 times. And Rajesh is probably sitting here right now thinking to himself, like, again with this guy, he's always critiquing my speeches, I can't get a free pass. Reason being, and there's actually a very good reason behind it, is because Rajesh is a really good speaker. It's evident in his posture, in his delivery, he's competitive. He represents our club very well. So in order for me to get better as a public speaker, I have to challenge myself to be the evaluator of somebody who's already top of the class, which is not an easy task to do. So I'm going to provide you with 2 pluses, which is easy to do, and a challenge, which for me was challenging. 2 pluses. So one of them, providing visuals. Rajesh is very good at sculpting a story using words and hand gestures in front of us and creating a picture in our heads that's easy for all of us to follow along, to imagine for ourselves. The scene in the bar in Nigeria, the description on how chess, like a very simple board game, appears to you personally, your childhood imagination applying to the chessboard, it's wild. I thought that was a very cool description of something that chess might seem mundane to some people, but the way that you described it made it almost seem like this fantasy world of Dungeons and Dragons and strategy, and I think providing visuals is definitely a strong suit for you. Another strong suit is you always provide us with a glimpse into an interesting story, and that story always happens to be your life. So where you were, where you've gone, and what you've done is a very intriguing thing for all of us here. And it just so happens that it's your life that you're describing. So providing us these little snippets on who Brajesh is and where he's been and what he's done, I think that's a very cool element to all of the speeches you give and makes us want to hear more in the future. Also, your closing is always fantastic, tying it in, tying it all together. If I were to challenge you to do one thing, I would just have to say volume. Maybe throw in an impactful, voluminous statement to really drive home what that other chess grandmaster did to you in that moment. You're a soft-spoken guy, which makes you very approachable and very easy to talk to. Maybe try challenging yourself to really push those decibels and really get the volume up in certain areas. Don't take it as an heuristic point of view, but that's what I hope you do in your future speeches. So, thank you, Brajesh. So that's the high and the short of our meetings tonight. But we do have to check in on some of the data that's been collected, some of the fundamental elements of speaking. And those data points were collected by our role masters. Let's see some of the information they collected for us. So, I would like to call one of our role masters. Let's do it in the same order that we started the meeting. Let's start with our ah counter, Toastmaster Sabine. If you could share with us the information that you gathered on the ah counter roll tonight. You can come up and talk to us. Yes.
Here we are on the or so's, and a few buts, and actually. Overall, I really believe everybody did very well. And some people spoke more, therefore you also maybe have a few more appearing. So I have Andrea with 2 R's and 2 So's. And then I have Iran, correct, yeah? With 1 So. Then Robert with 1 I have Edward, and you had a lot of speaking engagements with 2 and 5 so's and 1 actually. And sometimes you like to make really nice pauses. I want to say that. I really like it, so I wanted to bring it in. Hugo, 2 so's. Christian, 1 so. Rajesh, 2 R's. I mean, there's nothing really to complain here, but 2 R's and 2 so's. Rourke had 1 R, 2 Ors, Tess 1 and Eddie had 3 buts. I myself had minimum of 5 that I counted myself. Then Helga, from the nervousness, I could see that there were 4 so's, 5 3 likes, and 2 buts. And what you sometimes do, you combine the and you do that as a kind of bridge. And Simon had 6 and 1 R. That's it.
Thank you very much. Trying to scale down some of those ums, buts, and other filler words. It's challenging, but it's part of the process. The role of the timer was held by Robert today. Robert, how did we do on time?
Okay, nice job, everyone. It's challenging to keep up with everyone, but I think I got it. So our first speech by Brajesh, I'm sorry, was the goal was between 5 and 7 minutes, and you were at 6 minutes and 56 seconds. So congratulations. Our second speech by Helga, which was an icebreaker, where the goal is between 4 and 6 minutes, was at 4 minutes and 35 seconds. So congratulations. Okay, moving on to the table topics. Okay, so our first speaker was Hugo, is that correct? Table topics, the goal is 2 minutes, or I'm sorry, yeah, 2 minutes, right? Yeah,
1 to 2.
Oh, 1 to 2 minutes, okay. 1 to 2 minutes, and Hugo, you're at 1 minute and 9 seconds. Nice job. Our second speaker, Simon, the goal between 1 and 2 minutes, you were at 1 minute and 14 seconds. So, great job with that. Christian, you were at 59 seconds, 59.45 seconds. One more or and you would have done it. Okay, Aran, 54.41 seconds. So, almost there, meeting the 1 minute mark. And then, Ebony, 54.61 seconds. So just barely under the minute, and work 36.26 seconds. Okay, so that is the timer's report. Thank you all.
And well, I was going to say last but not least, but she's been up here a couple times already. So Toastmasters Samin with the grammarian report.
And here we go. No heuristic grammarian notices here. I do have to report 3 times we had the word heuristic, and Brajesh had it, Edward had it, and Eddie. And then I had one quote which I have never heard before. This is why I noted it down, Rajesh, which was the skin of your teeth. I was like, So I thought that was very interesting, the way you used it, and I was like, okay, that's something I've never heard before. So thanks very much.
All right.
That's it.
Excellent work, everybody. So we do have a couple more minutes to kill, which means I would like to utilize this time to give a shout out to some of our new members, returning members, spotlight members. So if this is your first time at Toastmasters Miami Beach, please raise your hand so I can see who's who. Cool. I would like to ask, if you guys don't mind, to stand up, say your name, you do one at a time or both at the same time, whatever you guys want. what brings you to Toastmasters? Well, how long you been at Miami Beach? Where are you from? What brings you to Toastmasters? And what do you hope to accomplish or gain from attending our meetings?
Okay, so my name is Hugo. The reason why I started coming here is because I just became project manager or operations manager, I'm sorry, at a software company. I was thinking about I wanted to become one like 2 months ago, so now I am one. And I know one day I'm gonna be doing public speaking for motivational speaking and such. I keep on imagining that in my head over and over. So I want to learn how to speak to people, and I want to be able to present myself in a better way.
Yep, awesome, thank you. And Toastmaster Christian.
So my name is Christian, born and raised in Miami. The reason why I wanted to take these Toastmasters sessions is because I got a new job last year where I'm managing a team, and I wanted to develop more, I would say, leadership skills to get ideas and visions across with my colleagues, as well as my job pertains to a lot of networking. So I'm constantly on the road networking with different professionals. So it's one thing that I'm looking into enhancing when it comes to the networking professional thing. So it's great to be here.
Thank you. And Toastmaster John, you're a returning member. Haven't been here for quite some time. Would you like to partake and give it a little shout out?
Miami Beach is one of the most creative and unique clubs that I ever go to because, give you an idea, you got up and you were talking about structure and personality and your vision and your path. I learn things when I come here. Why? Because it is so different and unique. When you go to the mainland, everybody has a script, they're following this path, and it's really strange. Well, I'm gonna say this. I like your creativity because it's almost church. For me, seeing people grow and learn is my church. What does that mean? That means that it gives me solace and patience because I don't have to participate every time I come, especially when I come to Miami Beach. But a lot of times I get called on Toastmasters, and I was super grateful that Tess didn't just call on people, and she said I would like volunteers because I wanted to see new people get up and do that, and I appreciate that. But I'm gonna say the one takeaway that I got from today was Helga. Don't stop delivering speeches. The more you do, and the more feedback you get here, the more discouraged you get, overlook that, because the heart is here. Make sure that you keep delivering speeches. When you deliver 50, you're gonna be a knight in shining armor. You're gonna be jumping over buildings. So deliver 50 speeches. That's my challenge to you, Helga. Thank you.
So to wrap things up, thank you all for coming out to grow, to learn, and amazing wrap up, Toastmaster John, on the unique and varying benefits of this club and amongst all the other clubs in the greater Miami area across the world. As part of our messages for tonight's meeting, we really want to emphasize the utilization of Toastmaster pathways. Reason being is because there are a couple of contests that require a specific amount of participation within the pathways training module. Unfortunately, we don't have any folks who meet the minimum criteria, except for maybe Rajesh, who's been in the club for a period of time, but this is a relatively new club with a lot of new members and a lot of new faces. So in order for us to compete on the main stage and potentially compete globally, we really need to start utilizing the pathways features within the Toastmasters website. If you have any questions about what Pathways is, how to access it, and what it can do for you, reach out to myself or any of the other officers that are part of this club after the meeting. We can show you exactly where it is, how to access it, and how it prepares you and challenges you for your next speech. So if you are going to deliver a speech next week, which I encourage all of you to do, check out the pathways first, because it's going to show you very specific elements that you should try to work on. Vocal variety, utilization of the stage, hand gestures, eye contact. All of the fundamentals of delivering a speech is reinforced in pathways. It's a super useful tool, it's powered by Salesforce, and it's something that if we want to take our club to the next level, we really gotta tap into it. So part of our challenge 2023 is I expect to see a lot of groundbreaking, a lot of accomplishments performed by the individuals on this club. So talk to me about Pathways, talk to our officers about it, we'll get you guys set up if you're not already set up. Outside of that, we always end our meetings with a group photo at the front of the stage with everybody. If you are not part of the WhatsApp chat group, I'll send you a QR code for you to get on board so you can get a copy of this photo, obviously, most important, but also to get the agenda for next week, to get on board with the speeches for next week, to chit chat amongst the other members. So come to us at the front of the stage after the meeting's over, get the QR code for the WhatsApp group, sign up for next week, and until then, I will see each and every one of you Thursday, 6:15 at Miami Regional Libraries. Thank you all for coming out.